So I've got a video here just to answer one of our potential clients, maybe Stephen, who messaged us on the Google platform and asked us the following question. I don't feel that we answered it properly, so then we referred him to our newsfeed. We always say look back to the newsfeed or website for more information. And then looking through myself, I couldn't really find an article we'd written about this specifically, and I will write an article about it. But I thought because Stephen's watching our YouTube channel, it'd be a good opportunity to just do a video. So Stephen asks, I've watched your video on YouTube, very informative. Please can you clarify? If I was to live and qualify in Spain on an NLV, is it possible to own more than one property and rent the other property out for a long-term arrangement, Or if the property qualifies, possible short-term lets, is this allowed? Regards, Stephen. Okay, now we answered, hi Stephen, many thanks for watching. Yes, passive income from rental is fine. If you're doing short-term holiday lets, then the cleaning and etc. would be need to be managed by a separate company. I need to be outsourced, as this could be classed as work activity. For more information, please check out our website. Okay, well, we're all about getting information out there, aren't we? Let's expand on that answer. Basically, can you use passive income from a property for an NLV? Yes, you can. Okay. Is it easier to use passive income from a property in Spain than the UK? In this instance, Stephen was asking about Spain, but people still have second homes in the UK. Yes, you can. Okay, so we have done, let's explain. You cannot work on an NLV or do anything that is deemed to be an activity, a work activity on an NLV. So if you own a second property and you rent it out long term, then you won't have any work activity because it's a long term let. You'll receive your rent, and any maintenance that's being done, I would imagine, will be done and subcontracted out to a company. So you may need plumbers, electricians, builders, etc. Normally in the UK, well, I'm going to give two examples. We have done renewals of the NLV using passive income received from rentals in the UK, but we've had to submit an awful lot of documentation, and all that documentation has to be translated, which can be very expensive. So we submit the rental contract or agreement. We also submit, sometimes in the UK, people receive things which are very similar to wage slips from the agencies who are managing the long-term rental. So you'll get a wage slip with the agency fee, the management fee, and eventually how much you get. We also have to submit proof of where that money is being paid into to a bank account. So quite often you can have translations for the initial rental agreement, the agency payment slips or whatever they give you, and proof of that rental money going into a bank account. So that can add up. If you have a private rental in the UK, again, we would need proof of the rental agreement and the contract, and the proof of the money going into the bank account. Okay, all of that would need to be translated, and even then, sometimes they question it. If you've got a property in Spain, okay, and it's a long-term let, then it's always advisable, if you don't know Spanish rental law, to have an agent involved anyway. Which isn't always the easiest thing to do, because now they've changed the laws, so it's not that interesting for agents to even get involved. But definitely, you would need to have a rental contract in place. Don't forget that, about 1% of people do this who actually rent out long term, but those rental contracts are supposed to be registered with your local government and a deposit placed with the local government. Okay. Also, you will need to be able to prove the rental income coming into hopefully your Spanish account. You shouldn't, if you're renting out long term in Spain, you need that rental income to go into your Spanish account. Plus, it's always advisable, if you do own a property or two in Spain, to put the proof of ownership of that property in with your renewal application, which will be a nota simply. If you're renewing for the second time, 4 or 5, then you will have this money declared in your tax return, because by default on a non-lucrative visa you will always become at one point a fiscal resident in Spain. Short-term lets can be tricky. Now, you can't manage your own short-term let. You would need to subcontract that management out, because if for any reason it was deemed that you were doing a work activity, so you were managing your own short-term lets, maybe it's be it Airbnb or you've got it on bookings or whatever, then that could be deemed as a work activity. That could be deemed as you running a rental company, albeit only one property is involved. So you've got advertisements for that property, I'd imagine, on different platforms. So yeah, of course, you can get money from short-term lets if that asset is yours, that property is yours, and you're receiving funds from that property, so that asset is generating a passive income without you doing anything because the running of that property is managed by someone else, then absolutely fine. What you can't do is you can't be in there running that, because that could be deemed as work activity. Alright, a little bit grayscale, because you know how a lot of people say, well, how would they find out? How would immigration know? Don't know. You know, we don't have access to immigration systems, but we do know that they do have a very wide network of ways to find things out. So it's always best to keep it clean. Okay, so there you go. You can, of course, you can own second properties in the UK. You can rent them out. You can receive passive income, but you just can't manage them yourself. Same in Spain. Stephen, I hope that answers your question in a bit more detail than we did on the Google chat. All right, so there you go. Thanks for watching. More questions we get in, more videos we'll do, and yeah, start the summer now, so please subscribe. We'll be doing a few more out and about videos as well, showing you what we're getting up to out and about, and yeah, any questions, ask them below.